You know, you look in the mirror, you don't think you have a problem. But when your 10-year-old son comes and says you have a problem, I don't want nothing to do with you, I finally really listened to somebody in my life for once.
I got caught up with the wrong type of people, being homeless. Fortunately, I had to go to prison for a while.
I thought I was just a partier, but I started dabbling with harder drugs. My mom actually told me, she's like, I was scared when you're out there using, that we would get that phone call that you're not with us no more, right?
The mission of Quintin Warner House is about sobriety. It's for men between the ages of 18 and 118. Anybody from the province can apply to come here, and there's no charge for anybody. And we have had clients as far away as other provinces who have sought to come here, and we have brought them into the program as well. This program is 4 months, and we call ourselves a treatment program, not a recovery program, and there's a big difference.
My first few days here, it was nervous.
Confusing, wondering what's going to happen, but I wanted to find out why I drink, why I do drugs.
When I first got here, I was actually scared to actually leave the house by myself. I thought if I left, there's a good chance I could end up using.
In the first month of their time here, they would be put on what we call a buddy system for a couple weeks.
I could run into my drug dealer on the street, or I could walk by a bar.
A lot of people come from out of town, so the buddy system's there for people to show you around, to take you to the gym, take you to the store, take you to the library.
They'd be assigned a primary worker. That's when we would get into the more discussion around the trauma in their lives.
This is one of the hardest things I'll ever do in my life, is getting clean and sober. But they guide you through the process.
The trauma in their lives has led them to have a lot of emotional pain, and so they turn to something like drugs to release that pain.
For myself, I was abused as a kid growing up, mentally, physically. I see my mother being beaten every day when my father was around and stuff like that, so that affected me growing up.
I always struggled with low self-esteem, and I struggled with mental illness my whole life too. My way of dealing would just be try to get as much drugs and alcohol in my system so I don't have to think about it. Meanwhile, inside I'm just that scared little boy that's just so sad and so insecure with himself, right?
Our whole philosophy of care for anybody who comes in here is it's holistic. Whether it be spiritual, whether it be trauma, whether it be nutrition, we try to teach them and give them other ways, other tools to use, that they don't have to use drugs or substances.
When you're using drugs and alcohol, I don't think you really go to church and learn about spirituality.
Through Quintin Warner, they gave me the taste of spirituality. And, without having that, I don't know where I'd be really, right?
I know I'm here for a reason, and God, my understanding, He's still got a plan for me.
Quintin Warner House, in many ways, is on the cutting edge when it comes to addiction treatment. So even looking at stuff like our menu planning, we've taken out all the salts, all the fats, all the stuff that's not good for our guys, and we've replaced it with everything that's much better quality and also nutrition-wise far better.
It's good to have that balanced, nutritious diet too, right? I went from maybe eating once every couple days to 3 healthy meals.
In the last couple of years, we've done a lot of best practices research. So our program is based not just on what we've already done in the past, but what is the best that we can do by the best measures out there that are available to our staff and our skills.
I had quite a few friends in the house, and they ended up going out using. I had a couple of them actually end up dying, and that was a big wake-up call for me. I could be that next person that doesn't come back.
When we hear from one of our guys who graduated from the program that has passed away because of their addiction or mental health struggles, we put a stone in the ground that's just a stone that has their name on it, the date they were in the program and their date of birth.
Any way you look at it, you're gonna go in the grave one day, but there's a better way to go than dying from drugs and alcohol.
And so being connected to the community, being connected to one another is so important in terms of long-term sobriety.
The big sense of my recovery today is to stay connected. If I can help somebody else out, that's new into the program, that helps me out tremendously. It just feels good that I'm able to give back.
I find I'm a part of the success that goes on in this house.
It makes me feel good to know that I've given back.
A lot of people think that the opposite of addiction is sobriety, and actually the opposite of addiction is connectivity. And so, that's why our graduations are so important. Stay connected. Never let a bad situation bring out the worst in you. Always be strong and choose to be positive.
When you graduate, they pass a pen, and people can hold it and say a prayer, and I love wearing it.
You'll hear most of our grads talk about stay involved, stay connected. That's the important part of your treatment now.
When I graduated, they have an Annex Program as well, where you can stay there for 1 whole year.
The purpose of the Annex Program is to provide a transition back into the community.
Just helps you to get back on your feet again. They'll help you find a job, or if I do have a problem, I can't solve it, I know I can come back here and talk to John or one of the staff instead of just, forget it, might as well go out and get drunk or get high.
So really helping our guys to recognize that there is a hope and a future in the life of sobriety. Bringing families back together is part of our success, helping them to understand that things can be different.
I have a relationship with my son that I never ever had with my father. I can honestly say that I was a dad at one time, but today I'm a father.
I have a new sense of peace in my life. My relationship with my parents now is great. They're no longer worried about having that phone call.
I shouldn't be sitting here today. I should be either 6 feet under or sitting in a prison cell. And if it wasn't for Quintin Warner, that's where I would be.
They leave here with a much better sense of hope for the future. They have a better plan for who they are. We've reconnected them to family members, which is crucial. And so that whole plan of care for them in general is bringing everything in their lives together as one package and helping them leave with something that just gives them more to work towards ongoing sobriety.